Hello again everyone, this is MarcBrightside and welcome back to A Bug's Life on the N64. See, I haven't forgotten about this game. Right, well in this part, our trial by feather, yeah, I don't know, our war against the bird is going to be coming to a head in the second boss fight of the game. So, our objective with this one is, in essence, the same as it was with the first fight. Get a blue, purple, or gold berry, and then beat the shit out of him. Same as every other boss fight in this game. You're seeing a theme here. The designers really weren't feeling very creative this day of the week. But the actual climbing up to him is the main focus of the fight. And as you're wandering around, Flick is going to occasionally yeah, he just did it there. Flick is going to occasionally mumble to himself that, I need super jump. That's because this level actually introduces us to a new power-up. There aren't many levels where they give you the requisite number of blue tokens to actually reach this power-up, but here they do. And as you'll gather, yeah, it's super jump. So, it doesn't let you double jump, but it really increases the height of your jump, and it also makes you a bit floatier as well, so it makes the platforming a lot easier. I don't think you actually require the jump here. I'm almost certain you can get through this area without using super jump, but it'll make life a lot easier. And this is one of the few levels where you actually do get access to it, so why not make the most of it? There is actually a trick I've been using throughout this run where I didn't really go into it until now because it didn't really seem worthwhile. Also, that enemy disappeared. Basically, at the height of your jump, do the ground pound, butt stomp, whatever you want to call it, and you actually gain a small amount of height. Yeah, you can see there, you gain a bit of height in the air before you go crashing down, and it can let you reach some areas that you're not really intended to yet, or it can just, you know, it's sort of jump insurance, as it were. But the super jump makes that irrelevant. So the cool thing about this fight is that they actually did plan ahead, and they sort of prepared for what happened for people that were going for the gold token, as I am. The boss is just there, you can see it off to the right. It's not doing anything, and as it stands now, I just picked up the blueberry, so I could very easily just jump onto one of those ledges, or even hit it from here actually, and just keep throwing blueberries until it dies. All fun and hunky-dory. However, when you collect the gold berry, the bird is going to go high up into the sky. Now, you can't reach it from here, no matter how hard you try. Well, you might be able to get off like one berry per jump, but it's not a viable way of fighting the thing. So what you actually want to do instead is you need to grow a new type of plant. It's one we haven't actually seen so far. These are the... I'm not really sure what to call them. Gun plants, I guess. They're these little like mounted turrets that you can grow, and they fire either blue, purple, or actually I believe they only fire blue or purple berries. But what we need to do in order to get the bird to lower down to a range where we can actually hit him with the gold berries is to grow a purple plant, and they will home in on him because they are purple berries after all, and knock him down to our level. So, honestly, I actually quite like this fight. Yeah, there you go, there's the gun plant down there. They're represented by orangey brown tokens. But I do quite like this. It's a bit more creative than the other bosses. Every other boss in the game you just pelt with berries, so this one actually has a bit of a platformy aspect to it. For a platformer, you don't do an awful lot of platforming in this game, so it's nice when they actually trust you to be competent. They don't very often, normally everything's just on one level. The tokens are easy to get, as you can tell by the fact I've already got 2. Here I actually make a bit of a mistake. I forgot that, yeah, I'm missing a token, so you're sort of going to have to deal with that. But it's okay, because I know where it is. And as it stands, I'm missing 2 of the orangey-brown enemies as well, the ticks, whatever they're called. I wish this thing in my throat would go away. I feel like I'm kind of starting to come down with a cold, but I'm not sure. And I did want to record this now, because it's actually my birthday tomorrow. I'm recording a few of these ahead of time, because I'm going away to Brighton for a couple of days. And then it's just going to dissolve into me talking about my holidays. And then in a couple of weeks' time, I'm actually going away to Greece, which I'm really looking forward to. It's actually going to be my first time outside of the UK, so I hope I don't get stabbed. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, we've got the purple gun plant now. Pistol plant. I need to think of a better name. Turret plant. I don't know. The only annoying thing is, despite the fact that the purple berries home in, they're not actually very accurate, and sometimes when the purple berries hit the bird, it just won't register if the berry itself wasn't on screen at the time, which is why you see me sort of jumping up and down there just to guarantee that the purple berry worked its magic. Anyway, yeah, that was a level. I do actually quite like that. It has good music as well, something I kind of haven't talked about until now. I do really like this game's soundtrack overall. There are a couple of duds in it, but I think for the most part the music in this game is pretty enjoyable. Right. Unfortunately, we're now coming up to what is probably my least favourite level in the game. I don't think it's the worst level by any stretch. I think there is one level later on that beats this in terms of just sheer bullshit that they expect you to go through. But I have a personal hatred for this level for a lot of reasons. Right, let's start with the obvious one. We saw it back there. Enemies drop grain in this level. I'd say about between 30 and 40% of all of the grain in this level is located inside an enemy. And here we have a new enemy variety as well, taxi bugs, which can only be killed by a blueberry. You can't butt stomp them. So, yeah, try and get a blueberry as early as possible. But luckily you can get one in this opening area, which is something, I suppose. But going back to the enemy grain issue, as you can imagine, this makes getting the grain token really quite problematic, actually, because if you miss a piece of grain, or if you miss an enemy for that matter in an area, then backtracking becomes a huge issue. But the biggest problem with the grain involves that door that I just passed off to the right back there. This level is sectioned off into 4 chunks, and each of them is divided by a door that requires a certain number of grain in order to pass, similar to the pit barriers in the tunnel. Now this is a bit of an issue, because enemies respawn, remember. If you either leave the screen or if you just wait a few seconds, enemies will always respawn unless killed with a gold berry. Which means that if you miss an enemy, if you miss a single one, and you're desperate for a piece of grain just so you can open the door, not even trying to get the token, then you have to backtrack and check every single fucking enemy until you find the one that drops the grain. Oh, and here's a marvellous piece of level design as well. They put a seed inside this bottle, and actually getting inside this bottle is a bit of an arse anyway, just because the camera doesn't agree with you. But here's the thing. Flick carries seeds above his head, meaning that he's too tall to get outside the bottle while holding it. So you just have to get near the entrance and then just spam the throw button until he eventually gets it outside. It's ridiculous. Why would you even put that in there? It didn't need to be in there. That bottle didn't need to be there. Fucking level. I hate this level. But the other issue with the grain is that when I say enemies drop grain, I should have said most of the time. Sometimes, if you jump on an enemy... Well, no. If you jump on an enemy to kill them, they will not drop grain, regardless of whether or not you've already killed them. They just won't. I don't know if that was intentional, or whether that's a bug. Doesn't matter. No, whether that's a bug. No, pun unintentional. But also, if you butt stomp an enemy to kill it, so if you do your little ground pound, then sometimes they will drop grain, sometimes they won't. And I hate that, because it means that if I butt stomp an enemy, then there's a 50-50 chance of me having to wait for it to respawn. If it was consistent, if it was always a case of you butt stomp the enemy and they don't drop a piece of grain, I could understand that. It would be annoying, but I could at least understand that. Here, it's just a gamble. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Why? Fuck knows. And the general level design of this place is just awful. Everything's sectioned off. There's always fences in the way, or like immovable obstacles of some form. There's always like a rock, or a plant, or a cardboard box, or something in your way. Nothing in this level happens easily. And there are barely any seeds for you to use as well. Most of the seeds are buried in the ground. So you end up reusing the shit out of whatever seeds are available to you. Oh, and here's a marvellous moment right here. This really pissed me off. Look, I jumped down here. I accidentally butt stomped that spider. Now, it didn't drop any grain. I didn't notice that when I was playing this. So I ended up backtracking all the way through the level to try and get that piece of grain. And I'm going to spoil something right now. This is one of those levels that I don't 100%. And the reason being, I didn't know how to at the time. I spent about an hour... Oh god, moving camera. No. Never use the moving camera. I spent about an hour playing this level, going back and forth, checking every enemy, checking every fucking section. And there were still pieces of grain I was missing, there were still flick letters I was missing, and I still hadn't even gotten the gold berry. And that's because there is a chunk of level that it's kind of... It doesn't look accessible, it looks like there would be an invisible wall there, and because of the shitty draw distance, you actually can't tell that there is anything over there. So I didn't think to access that part of the level, and even then it's really difficult to actually get a seed over there. I'll explain more when I'm nearby. But that area has, it's either 2 or 3 pieces of grain, it has the final flick letter, and it has the token needed to complete the gold berry. So if you don't know to get to that little chunk of level there that doesn't even look like it could be accessed, then you're not getting any of the 3 tokens. It would be annoying if it was like, if it was only a flick letter, or if it was only a goldberry token, but the fact that there are all 3, it has all 3 of the things you need in order to fully complete the level, it's just so obnoxious. And I just think, why did they do that? Why? And again, this isn't going to be an issue if you're just trying to complete the level and you don't care about 100%ing it, which, more power to you. But even then, even if you don't care about that, this level takes for fucking ever because you have to collect the grain. Unlike every other level in the game, you have to collect the grain here. The tunnels, I think the tunnels are a boring-ass level. But at least in the tunnels, you don't have to. You only have to stick to the central pathway, and that will get you to the end of the level. Here, you gotta get... It's either 30 or 40 pieces of grain in order to finish this level. I don't remember off the top of my head. But that's ridiculous, and especially considering that... Why did they put grain inside of enemies in this level? Oh great, I fell off, now I'm gonna have to climb all the way fucking back up there again. See what I mean? It's all high platforms, and you keep having to lug this one seed around because you need the green plants if you want to get anywhere in this level. If you want to make any progress whatsoever, you're gonna need the green plants. And it's just such a mess. It's just... They did everything possible to make this level annoying. Look, that's the first flick letter I've found so far, and I've been playing for about 7 minutes now. Well, longer, because I've edited quite a bit out, actually. I've been playing for about 10 at this point. And this level just sucks. This level is really bad. The next level is very similar to this. Like, you may have noticed by now, in this game, levels are grouped in 3s. There are 3 levels at the anthill, 3 levels in the tunnels... No, sorry, 3 levels in the anthill, 3 levels in the canyon, 3 levels in the city, and then... 3 levels somewhere, I don't really know what that area is supposed to represent, and then another 3 back at the anthill. The next city level is still pretty bad, honestly. It's still not great, but it's better than this because it's not such an arse to navigate. Like, the next level is one of those where it's only bad if you're going for 100%. This one is just bad all around. And now here's a little thing. That green goo on the ground will hurt you if you stand on it. It actually hurts you quite quickly. You can die alarmingly quickly from doing that. And it is possible to get seeds past here. If your throwing is really precise, you can like land it in the middle of the goo, and then just sort of inch your way over and snatch it off without getting hit. There's a part later on where in order to access that little hidden area that I mentioned earlier, you actually have to do that. But the problem is, the goo pit is too fucking wide. So what you actually have to do... what you actually have to do is get the seed onto the middle of the goo, then jump on it, take a hit, grab it while you've still got invincibility frames, and then throw it off. Which means you'll probably take a second hit as well. And... that's awful. That sounds like a cheat. That sounds like some sort of, speedrunning exploit or something, but no, you have to do that in order to get to the thing. Because you just don't... The pit is too wide, your invincibility frames don't cover the picking up and throwing animation. And that is just terrible, because if you're low on health, then it means you either have to just farm enemies until eventually one of them drops a health point, or, you know, a health pickup, whatever you want to call it. Dock leaf, I don't know. Or you just have to, you know, die and reset your health meter. And I haven't actually talked about this yet. Lives are quite hard to come across. I don't know, maybe I have mentioned this before, but I'll say it again. You only get lives from spelling out all 4 flick letters in a level. So, if you want to get more lives, you're going to have to replay all the levels and just farm up. Like, the best way to do it is to go to the training level and farm up the 4 flick letters there, because they're all really easy to get. There's so many bad design choices, and they all sort of come together in this one level. Yeah, see, here's me trying to get the seed across this pit. There we go. See, that wasn't that bad, was it? Yeah, the next one is impossible to do like that. That one's fine, because you can sort of get it around the corner. Next one, not happening. And see over there's a flick letter. You can only get this one by having the green plant with you again. And well, there you go, there's an example of it right there. I couldn't get this unless I did the trick to get the seed across the pit. And it doesn't look like something you should be doing. It looks like when I play Mario Sunshine or Ratchet & Clank and I break the level by like clipping through a wall or something. This looks like something along those lines. It looks like I'm cheating. But I guess I'm going to talk a little bit about my schedule for the next week or so. I'm planning on recording like 3 or 4 of these at once and sort of uploading them in dribs and drabs. Like I said, the next level's better, I promise. The next level is better. I've cut out... My philosophy for doing these videos is I'm cutting out everything that isn't necessary to progression of the level. So, cutting out backtracking, cutting out... You know, if I fuck up a jump, I'll cut out until I'm back on the platform, etc, etc. But there was so much of this that I wanted to cut out, there was so much that I just wanted to get past, and I couldn't because it's all necessary. This level, everything is required. You have to get the grain, you have to kill the enemies. It's awful. Awful, awful level. And there is one that's worse. There is a level that's objectively worse than this, because they have you do even more bullshit in order to just complete it. Here I'm on 1 health point at the moment, and you know, I fucked up that jump, so I've got to go back, and there's spiders and flies everywhere. Oh god, there's another spider over there. Don't get hit, come on, just get through it. I don't want to be doing this. Fuck this level. I'm done. So apologies for my lack of professionality there, but I just couldn't be bothered going through all that mess again. So, cutting ahead, we're at the end of the level now. For some reason this area suffers really badly from slowdown. I don't know why, but I think having the other moving characters on this screen just slows the engine to a crawl. But anyway, we're going to chat to them briefly, and then everything will be hunky-dory. Unfortunately I can't fast forward through this text, but whatever. I like how they're pretending that you don't already know the story. It's like if you're playing this game, then you probably already know what's going to happen. I like boys and Betty. Flick, can you end this fucking video already? Someday, I will find a better Let's Play, and then everything will be better. Yeah, I don't know anymore. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Go away. But anyway, that was the incredibly thrilling city level. And next time we get more incredibly thrilling city levels. So until then, this has been certainly something. So yeah, see you all next time, assuming you still want to